this was not sure if this actually went public, and I guess it did, but so I'm just restarting it. Y'all know the rules. I'm not gonna go through them. Just don't show up here and be a sequel fan or a Raylo or beating the drum for Kathleen Kennedy or your butt, my foot, you going through the door. It's just the way it is. Anyway, so today I was bored and I'm looking around Twitter and I find Pablo reminiscing and talking about generational books and how it's really great to see these people sharing their love of Star Wars with their kids. Hey, Matt Piranha. All right, now I want you to understand. One of the biggest arguments that we had with him, that I've had with him personally, was you're saying it's for kids. How do you think the kids are going to come to Star Wars? All right, you're not just going to get them. All right, and I'll just show you what I'm talking about because it's literally like mind-boggling. We all know how they wanted to chase us all out for their new non-existent fan base, right? All right. And they're basically reaping the whirlwind for that. I've been following and watching Hidalgo's Twitter account for a long time. And it seems to me like he is pretty much, it looks like he's cleaning out his office or moving or something. I'm really hoping we get to hear something because it's past time. And I really think the fans deserve to see it. That the fans deserve to know what's going on and that their concerns are being met. So let's go and I'll show you what he's been saying. Because it's just, when you guys see what this is, you're just gonna go, what the? Because this was the thing we got into arguments with him about. And he's basically saying, because you tell him, well, this is about legacy. Now we want new fans and things have to change. I mean, really just a shitty thing to say. And you kind of wonder, was he going along to get along? But then the way he treated the fans, no, he loved it. He absolutely loved being the biggest bully on Twitter. So let's find this because it's just So he's doing a shelf tour, and so, all right, here it is. I really want to just crush him on this. So here's what's going on. This guy named David T. Here it is. You see this, and he's showing off all the books he has. And then this one. Let's just stop with that. How many times did we tell him and everybody else in the story group, you're not going to get people to come to Star Wars and want to watch it and be part of it if you don't get the older fans on board. Things have to change. We want new fans. They're going to come. Where are these mythological creatures you call fans? I would really like to know because I don't see them anywhere. And the failure of the High Republic is obvious. Okay, obvious that they're not existent. And so he posts this. I love hearing examples of these books being passed down generationally. That's what it's all about. Yeah, you're right. And he didn't want to hear that because the people that were telling him, we don't like what you're doing, we're not going to go see it, you're not going to get new fans because if we don't go, we won't bring our kids. And he said, basically up yours. Fuck you, we're looking for new fans. Things have to change. No more white man. And, that was it. And now look at what's going on. Okay, now he's saying, I love hearing examples of these books being passed down generationally. That's what it's all about. Didn't we tell him that? Didn't he know that already? So now he's saying that? He's a phony. He knew perfectly well they were wrong. And he either went along to get along and didn't do it the right way like Dave Filoni did, or he was part and parcel to it. And I think he was part and parcel to it because of the shit that he pulled with Ryan Johnson. Oh, and Jason Ward. Okay, Jason Ward and Pablo are like this. Okay, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They are. So we've got this going on. And it's like, you just realize this, dipshit, right? You just realize this now. But when you look at this Twitter account, he's just he's reminiscing. He's really not. He's just going through his bookshelves talking about all the books he has. That's it. And it's, anyway, I mean, I don't, this guy's in the rearview mirror. I don't know how it's going to come out. But he's talking about all the stuff that came before in an era that I think he probably hates. Okay? Why would you, if you say you love something, why would you go out of your way to destroy it? The High Republic. Allowing, Luke and Han to be just crapped on. Okay, now he'll say it wasn't my fault. It's like, yeah, it is. What happened to Luke? And Ryan Johnson wrote that fucking thing in your presence. He was in Marin County. He was in San Francisco writing the script for The Last Jedi. One draft. They didn't come up with another draft. They didn't come up and tighten it up. They didn't do anything else. He just wrote a draft. Kennedy said, oh, it's so great. I just love it. And off he went. I mean, both Ryan Johnson and Pablo did Your Snoke Theory Sucks stuff from Steele Saunders. It's just, so he's retweeting another guy that needs to go. This Phil Sostak. And they're going through the Return of the Jedi, aka it was previously titled Revenge of the Jedi. It's like, you guys gotta go. They were talking about creating and doing scripts on Midnight's Edge yesterday. And they were talking about Leslie Headland. Okay, you guys, if you're on Twitter, start a hashtag, cancel The Acolyte. And make sure Disney and Star Wars see it. Okay? No, it's for the TV show. It's a TV show. My favorite quote from that show was Beth Dutton going to that woman, I'm the tornado through your trailer park. I love it. That's the fucking funniest thing I've ever seen or heard in my life. What a fucking bitch. But she's cool. She's cool. It's still on, see, man. They're going on a 4th season. In fact, it's I think if it hasn't premiered, it should soon. But I'm telling you, all right. So they're talking about Leslie Headland bragging that she was bringing people in that had never read a Star Wars book, never seen the movies, because the bullshit Hollywood idea that you need fresh eyes on this. Well, okay, fine. How about you get fans with fresh eyes? Okay, you get someone who knows what the hell they're doing. Someone who, I don't know, loves it. not everybody can be the director of The Wrath of Khan, okay? Because most of these people they're bringing in don't respect the material. They don't respect what came before them, you know. Well, see, man, I don't know. I mean, everybody seems to think it's going to happen, and I'm like going, you've got that brainless Grace Randolph saying that, oh, they're casting a woman of color who's athletic. I want to see that. I want to see that advert for that. I really, really do. Because look, if Disney actually goes ahead and spends money on it, and if Jon Favreau is in charge, I have to ask him, why are you allowing this to happen? Was this one of the deals Kathy made before she was launched out the door? Oh, great. Here's the deal about Grace Randolph. Everybody is taking her literally now, and I remember a few months back when she was out there banging the drums over Pedro Pascal, having a shit fit on The Mandalorian and leaving, and demand, basically saying it's true. I mean, she basically walked into a trap. I mean, it's like, look, I can't take that woman seriously. I really, really can't. But, so this is my thing. And I did write an email to Mr. Chapek and Mr. Iger saying, this is good money after bad. Look, there is no fan wanting of this series. We don't want it. There's no enthusiasm for it. No one likes Leslie Headland. Every time we see her, we see Harvey Weinstein. And oh, by the way, I wonder what's in her closet. You ever think that? I mean, I've said this before, I'll say, ew, Dreyerland, lech. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I have a good friend who is a movie director, and he owns a studio now, named Lee Scott, who basically said, I have had girlfriends who are actresses come home sobbing, saying, I've got the part if I sleep with A, the male producer, or B, the female producer. So I want you all to think about that sick shit, okay? Because if you think it's over, it's not. It's just, here's Harvey, look at him. It's the shiny object, okay? So we got Pablo reminiscing and, basically finally agreeing with people. If I gotta say this, if Thomas is watching this, I think he needs to jump in there and say, wow, Pablo, you're about 10 years too late for this. You should have been beating that drum when they were getting rid of the EU. Okay? I mean, my philosophy of the EU is when you're making TV shows, when you're making movies, you don't have to follow it completely. Chewie doesn't have to die. Anakin doesn't have to die. Anakin Solo. And the other stupid shit, okay, that just, it seemed like it was just filler to put in novels. Like, again, the Illusionist Han dates. I mean, there was a double story. There was one in A.C. Crispin's and then one in Brian Daly's. And it was kind of like the same thing. It was two different women, but the same thing. One was in the corporate sector and the other was, just, out in the galaxy. It's like, really? Really? So, but you don't have to follow that. But it's there for people to read and to get enthusiastic about the streaming. I mean, the streaming service could have tons of new and fun series, Star Wars stuff like the Jedi Academy. We could be following live action training of Jaina and Jason Solo, okay, and Anakin Solo, and whatever else. Instead, we get, we're being threatened with the acolyte, for Christ's sakes. I mean, come on. Anyway. Oh yeah, I mean that's here's the deal. The High Republic is bad fan fiction. You can't even really say The Acolyte's going to be bad fan fiction if it ever gets made, and I'm still saying it won't because she's not hiring fans. I mean, and her I was a Star Wars fan, blah blah blah. She's full of shit. She is full of shit. She's a liar, okay? She is a liar. I know she is. She's one of those girls that when I was in high school would mock people like me because we loved it and they thought it was weird. So girls like me, geeky, nerdy girls like me got bullied, okay? You know, that's fine, whatever, but don't sit here and tell me you loved it because that's bullshit and I know it's bullshit. What else? So yeah, all right. So anyway, last night, Doomcock had Cameron on, which was so great I can't even. And they talked about that article. They talked about the Atlantic. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, and I don't care who hears it, who knows it, whatever. Kennedy is in the rearview mirror. She is right now. I don't even consider her. All we need is some sort of official word. Like when they say, Jon Favreau is now taking over Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy is leaving in October, blah, blah, blah. And that's all they have to do, and then, kiss her bony ass and whatever, send her on her way. But I think there's going to be other announcements before that we'll know for sure are signs that, yeah, she's done, but I think this is the first one. All right, this article is basically telling everybody in not so many words, indirectly and passive-aggressively, that Kennedy is no longer in charge of Lucasfilm and Star Wars. Okay, Jon Favreau is. Okay, that's basically what they said. And the behavior of Pablo Hidalgo and many other people in the story group is pretty freaking interesting. Okay, but we need their names in a legit article, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline Hollywood, Deadspin, whatever, saying Lucasfilm is parting company with blah, 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 worked there for 25 years, blah, 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 and whatever, okay? All right. Because, go through, if you're on Twitter, go through Hidalgo's tweets. It's like he's going through all of his stuff to pack it up and leave. It almost looks like he's moving somewhere. Honestly. I'm not kidding. I'm like, I can't help but feel that way. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you this, and Mays knows, and if Thomas is watching, he knows he knows what I'm talking about. He really knows what I'm talking about. So, there is an actor that I've been following for a long time. He has been in England, off the grid, running in silent mode. Every once in a while he'll tweet something out or post something on Insta. And it's very interesting to me. I thought he was going to be in one movie. We'd been having this debate. Thought he was going to be in this movie, but why would they keep him under NDA for that? That's just stupid. His excuse was, I'm in the UK to do a MOPAC. And it's like, that's my dryer. I wish it would stop. Thank you. Why, for a game, why would he be under an NDA for a freaking video game? Who's a video game for? MI6? MI5? The Mossad? The only thing I can think of is it's Andor, or it could be Boba Fett. But he's not left yet. Yes, it is. It's Korean, and sometimes it bitches at us in Korean. I'm waiting for that. So, but why would, so I want to tell you guys that you're going to be, I think, very surprised. Maybe both shows. I don't know, but I don't think so. Well, maybe both. But see, Boba Fett wrapped. Andor is still being filmed. In fact, I just saw pictures the other day of stuff they put up on a hill that looked like a defensive position, Imperial position. Cannons, like, you remember the ion cannon in the Battle of Hoth? Kind of looked like that, but peeking out. So it might be an alliance position too, but I don't think so. And they're filming Andor in Scotland. And, you know, we got Indy 5 being filmed, and we've got Kenobi being filmed in California. And Pedro Pascal basically, you know, said that when Kenobi's finished, they're going to start, you know, filming Mandalorian, I think. There's no definitive date for Ahsoka, but I'm sure that's coming up. And I gotta say, I'm gonna say this right now. Don't be surprised if we get a big Luke-like appearance of a major original trilogy character in Andor. I mean, a major one, not just Bail Organa. You know, not, you know, Leia, because we already had that. Somebody else. Okay? And it's going to be every bit as epic as Luke. Okay? Because I think they're probably going to do some deep faking. A little bit. They don't have to do much with the actor to get it right. Because he doesn't have to do a whole lot. I mean, he's got everything. And it's like, okay, so just be ready. Be prepared. Be ready. But I am predicting the arrival of a character that has been run over and shit on since Kennedy got a hold of Lucasfilm. I mean, I love Pablo. I love this stuff being passed down to the generations. Let's shit on Han Solo again. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that we're dealing with a character who is older than Luke and Leia. We're likely going to see Vader for sure. That's not even a guess. We'll probably see Bail Organa and you know, those generals, even the one that got killed on Scarif, and some others. I know we're going to see Saw Gerrera, which who fucking cares about him? I just, you know, this, I'm going to be brutally honest here. That's a character I could have lived without. Okay, just, it's like, why? You know, why do we need this guy? Oh yeah, I think he will too. In fact, I think if Vader shows up at the end of Bad Batch, he pretty much wipes everybody out, including Omega. Unless Omega escapes. And I think we're going to see Boba Fett in the end get her, because they're kind of related in a big freaking way, you know? But yeah, so we're going to see Vader. We're going to see maybe the Emperor. I don't understand, Just Nova. What are you talking about? 10 years? We're all still probably going to be here. What's your point? You know, and if they do it through the streaming service, it might be 2 or 3 years. It's going to take some time, you know. But when Luke showed up at the end of Mando season 2, I knew Doomcock was right. I knew it. They're erasing the sequel trilogy. And I really wish the guys who do the lore, like Stupendous Wave and Geatley and a couple others, would stop calling Disney's crap canon. It's not. Okay? It's not. Yeah, I think it will too. I mean, once they get Ahsoka, I mean, they're talking about a Luke Skywalker thing, and I'm like, I know everybody wants Sebastian Stan to play him, but he's too tall. All right, you're gonna have to shrink him because, you know, you want. My thing about I'm very OCD about this. You got to be consistent. You really do. Okay. I mean, we're not doing a Black Ambo Lynn here. It's not, and you have to be consistent. One of my problems with Alden Ehrenreich was he wasn't consistent with the character. I mean, he wasn't. I've talked ad nauseum about that, but he wasn't consistent. Okay, and you have to be, you know, uh, consistent with all of that. Yes, it was Maze. It really, you know. Oh no, you didn't. Hey, Mexican Iron Man, how you doing? Hey, did you have fun on last night on Doomcock? Because I was on there till Cameron left, and then I just had to go to bed. I mean, I'm gonna try to be up for Echo Base because I want to do pop in. And oh, by the way, if you haven't looked on the community page on this channel, I've got my fan fiction posted, and if you guys want to read it, Lido Natera Art did the artwork that the two characters, one I plucked from the Han Solo origin story, and the other I just created off because. But I think you guys will like it. If you haven't read it, please do, and please, please, please. Oh yeah, yeah. I can't wait to do that either. But if you guys do read it, please leave input. It's look. Here's the deal. When you're editing something, you really actually need the page in front of you, and I don't have it printed out. So if there's something a little bit off or something, it's because when you're going through on the computer, you don't see it the same way. So I usually, when I'm editing something, I go backwards. I go from last page to first page, and I just edit from bottom to top, each page. And it makes you see misspellings, you see inconsistencies, you see sentences that really kind of, when they went on the page in the first place, they made sense, but after reading them over, it's like, I gotta change that. And I've gone through this several times, and I fixed quite a bit. But if you guys leave input, if you read it, please leave some input, because I poured my heart out into it, and I had a lot of fun writing this. And it's kind of a Western. It's kind of a saloon scene in a way. I've got plans maybe to go further, but I always thought in reading the origin story, Han never really had a mentor, and the job of being a smuggler. And when I looked at the origin story, and I saw there's a character named Mako Spence, and Mako was actually a friend of Han's from the academy, and he left the Imperial Navy, I think, was actually dishonorably discharged, and ended up a smuggler, and they're about the same age. But I thought, you know what? Mako should be older. He should be the big guy on campus, if you know what I mean. He runs the biggest operation. He has most ships. People go to him all the time for, can you move this stuff for me? And he's that guy. And I gotta say, there's a certain decency among, because when I look at what they're doing, what it was like, what it would be like, you have really bad people. You have people who are just outside the law, doing what they can to make a living because circumstances sort of force their hands. And when you read the origin story, Han couldn't find, they would not hire him to be a pilot anywhere, and he almost had to go and learn how to smuggle and do that stuff. All right, because he wouldn't have survived. And I want to kind of explain how that might have happened and where he learned all that stuff and where that beginning, that sort of moment where he meets people that can actually be kind of a support. Okay. You don't just show up in a place like Narshada, aka Dodge City, Kansas, Tombstone, Arizona, Prescott, Arizona, Deadwood, South Dakota, and say, "Ta-da, I'm here." You don't. I mean, you have to build a reputation. And how you do that, you connect with somebody like Mako, and he shows you the ropes. He's older, he's wiser, he's been there, done that. He's got notches in his belt. He's got enemies, and so I hope you guys read it. Let me know if you like it. If you hate it, let me know too. Tell me why. Unlike Pablo Hidalgo, I can actually take criticism. But other people who've read it really like the way everybody's portrayed. Okay. And it's sort of it's been a labor of love. I'll never make any money on it. I wish I could, but I won't, and that's fine. I mean, it's just fun to do. It's a hobby, whatever. Kind of like this. But anyway, it's on the community page. The link is up, and if you see it, you want to go over there. And it's not a long read. It's only like I think 5 or 6 pages. It's just, and what it is present, and then a memory, present tense, and then a memory, and then on until you get to the climax, which is, I think pretty intense. But I don't know. I mean, I don't, whatever. But I hope you guys like it because it was a lot of fun. And I've got something else I'm working on too, and I've got to finish that. I got to get all those chapters on that blog too that I've been working on. I've been working actually on a thing that happens between Ord Mantell and The Empire Strikes Back. So it's sort of an adventure looking for a lost spy master, and you get to see the generals and Mon Mothma and banter between Mon Mothma and Han Solo and Luke, and his, I wanted to capture how Luke felt about his father and why it meant something to find everything he could find out about him. And Leia's, thing with Han and that, thing going on there. It's a lot of fun, and they do go to Narshada. There's a lot of trouble that happens. Han runs into somebody that owes him a lot of money, and he basically takes it and leaves the guy, and the guy is in more trouble than he could possibly be in because he's not only got Han and Chewie mad at him, he's got a really big crime lord who's not a Hutt or the Black Sun or whatever is out there. These guys are actually what I wanted to do is I wanted to build this up around the Italian Mafia. Okay, which I thought would be really cool. Okay, so, and that's going on, so it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just stuff, but that is not on there yet. At least part of it is, I think, the prologue, but the story isn't on there yet. Anyway, back to Headland. I honestly, really, if cameras roll on this, I honestly almost think that Disney is going to set her up to fail. Everyone says, well, she knows stuff and blah, blah. What does she know? Who cares? If she had, look, here's the deal. If Kennedy had anything on Bob Iger, at this point, we would know it, okay? If Kennedy had anything on Bob Chapek, and I know she doesn't have anything on him because, he came from the Park side, okay, which is, I almost think, was probably a good political move by Iger and the board. You get someone completely detached from Hollywood. Um, you know, and I don't really see, I mean, you know, if she's losing her job, and she is not going to be re-signed to her contract, and she's in the rearview mirror. All right, tell everybody who disagrees with that, Kennedy's in the rearview mirror. She is. Okay. If she had anything on them, she would have already had it out there. You know, you don't you don't wait until you're fucked completely before you play that hand. You just don't. Okay. And as for Headland, you know, how do we know she doesn't have any skeletons in her closet? I mean, you know, and that's one of those things. So I don't look for cameras to ever roll on this. I think she's trying to protect it. I think she sees what's going on at Lucasfilm. I mean, let's go back. If you want to argue with me, go tell Taika Waititi. He lied about this when he said in an interview, my Star Wars movie is on the shelf because Lucasfilm is restructuring. Okay? In fact, there was a job opening at Lucasfilm, and it looked like it was an opening for Pablo's job. Now, the only thing that made me think it wasn't, it's a junior creative executive. And I don't really know if you could call Pablo after 20 years being a junior creative executive, but there it is. So, you know, are things happening? Yeah. So why is Headland showing up on AV Club, and why is, you know, Grace Randolph flapping her, you know, dipshit gums about all this? There's nothing to talk about. Headland's trying to protect her project, and she's saying all the wrong things. All the wrong things. Representation, LGBTQ, female-centric, all the dumpster fire language that drove people en masse away from Star Wars and away from the High Republic. I would think that Bob Chapek, who probably knows she did this, would be like, who okayed this? I'm not spending any money on this. I'm not. This is good money after bad. I'm gonna say this, if you were an investor of Disney and you saw that, you'd be on the phone with Chapek's office saying, are you kidding me? You know, now, they could be looking at this saying, we need filler, we need more original content for the streaming service, blah, blah, blah. Grab a book, any of the novels from the EU. Doesn't matter which one. Get the animation guys to work on it. Ta-da, there you've got your TV show, which is what they should have done. You know, but hey, you know, Pablo, who now is a huge EU fan and loves the OT era, you know, and saying, oh, I love seeing books passed down to the next generations. He was the one that said absolutely no to the EU. He was the one that danced on its grave. You know, now, was he holding the party line? Was it because Disney was like, we don't want to pay these authors any money, don't use their books, we don't want to pay them any royalties, which is against the law, I think. You know, I don't know. But it seems to me that a guy that would hold up a sticker by Steele Saunders that says your Snoke theory sucks and thinks he's funny, pretty much hates the fans, and Pablo said he hates the fans. B, hates everything that came before. He was able to shit all over it. All right, if you go to the Twitter and you see what I'm talking about, you're gonna be going, didn't we have this conversation? Didn't you say you hated that? What, Just Nova? So he didn't even watch the original trilogy. He was into the board games? What? Are you kidding? Oh, jeez. Oh, so he's well, I did hear something about him being involved in Dungeons and Dragons. You know, interesting. I need more information on that. So when I'm done here, you can leave a comment. I'm, oh, really? I have to look that up. In fact, I might have Baz Taylor grab a couple of those so I can make a video. Yeah, I conflicted. I don't think he is. I think, look, here's the deal. You guys know his story. I think Mexican Iron Man. I think Mike, you know his story. Well, his background does explain a lot. He is an immigrant from Chile. His father was an opponent of Augusto Pinochet, and at the time they left Chile. Pinochet was basically taking a scythe and wiping out the left, and they disappeared. Yeah, that was going on. They ended up in Canada. His mama, I think, is Canadian. Okay, and then he immigrated from Canada to the United States and got himself involved in all the geek culture and you know and ended up at Lucasfilm. So, all right. So basically, Just Nova, you're telling me that this red diaper baby from Chile isn't even interested in movies? How did he get hired by Lucasfilm? How? How? I mean, again, though, hey, I'm telling you right now, that's what they do. Sometimes people like that get hired by companies. They're not thinking. They're not thinking. I mean, if I just know, I would have seen him coming in, just said, I looked at his resume and I would have said, no, no. I mean, maybe he was hired to do the game stuff and some of the stuff like the interactive stories and started, because I know he was an extra on Revenge of the Sith. I'll see ya. I'll be there. I'll leave at 3. I know he was an extra on Revenge of the Sith. That's just, hey Mexican Iron Man, what's up? What's up, Mike? But I'm like, I don't, this guy had the dream job, really, truly had a dream job. Oh, really? Oh my God. How in the hell? No wonder why no wonder why this all sucks. What the? Oh, interesting. Interesting. I am literally like, oh my God. Now you guys wonder why I get a little obsessive and OCD about him. I have had several run-ins with him from 2017 on that were friendly at first and then bullshit and shitty. Okay? Just, I mean, to the point where I would have probably fired him just by if I had been running Lucasfilm and seeing what he was saying to the fans on Twitter, I would have fired him immediately. And then I started hearing more stuff about him, like, I'll be there at 3, buddy. There's this guy. He didn't know George. I mean, all right, let me tell a story, and then I'll tell you something that a friend of mine discovered. There is an old YouTuber who intimated to me that Pablo bullied a fan over the death of the EU so badly the guy tried to kill himself. Okay? Pablo is not a nice person. Okay? This nicey shit is fucking phony. We've all seen the real Pablo. Okay? So, anyway, the next story about him. So, a friend of mine, the person that basically got him to, oh yes, it does, Mike. Oh yeah, it does, Mike. This person basically got him to admit that he was leaving after 20 years. I don't have any plans, and I don't know what hers are. So, I mean, that to me, without him directly saying they're forcing me out, which is, they're not, what they're doing in restructuring is they're fake looking for redundancies and then sweeping people off to the side. They're probably bringing new people in that are fans because of that employment ad from Lucasfilm for a junior executive. Yeah, Mike. So what they're doing, and I've seen it, I saw it in many places in DC, is I wouldn't doubt that they even brought an auditor, because what happens, you guys remember the movie Office Space? Remember the Bobs? They were auditors. What they do is they interview you. What do you do? What do you do at your job every day? And then they decide these are all redundancies, and they look at competence, they look at paycheck, they look at a lot of different factors, and then a lot of people are just moved out. They're just, your job is being phased out. In fact, that happened to me. How did I get on Capitol Hill? Because they were automating a lot of stuff that I did for my department, and since I was the job, one of the people who actually, I help people find jobs in DC, I saw a job in the House Majority Leader's office and I jumped on it. And I got that job like that. And I interviewed for a lot of other ones too. But I would not have traded the job I got working for Dick Armey. Oh, no, he wasn't at that meeting. So anyway, he's a subscriber. When I said we need to kick the hornet's nest, because I was sitting here going, there's something not right here. I know Doomcock is telling the truth. I know it. But we need to get some sort of confirmation. And when Pablo said that, he wasn't going to come out and say they're phasing my job out and they're bringing somebody younger in that's a fan of Star Wars and they're phasing a lot of us out. He's not going to say that, okay? But he did say, after 20 years, I don't have any plans and I don't know what hers are. Her referring to Kennedy. So my friend kind of baited him more, and then a fake account shows up and tells him to F off. That fake account is called Han Loves Leia. And when you have a Twitter account, it's at Han Loves Leia, but you have the extra name on there. For a while, it was, I no longer like Dave Filoni. Okay. So I'm assuming, because we know Pablo has a lot of different accounts on Twitter, that was him. And he knew what was going on. He put two and two together and was pissed. All right. I'm sure he's probably under an NDA because, again, Disney doesn't want bad press. Of course, can I ask you guys a question? Would it be bad press if Variety reported that they were under restructuring and several names that we know were being phased out, like Pablo Hidalgo? I don't think any of us would care In fact, we'd be out dancing around our houses, or I'd be having a big fire pit, getting trashed on Fireball, okay? That's how happy I would be. I mean, there would be Yup Nub everywhere. I think sometimes Disney doesn't understand that kind of news would be welcomed by the fans, okay? And probably welcomed by investors who'd be like, they're finally doing something and getting rid of this dead wood, because that's what they are. When Kennedy conceived of the story group, it was literally her just grabbing unqualified people because they have vaginas. And if they were men, they were either brown men, Asian men, Pablo's Hispanic, Asian men, Leland Chi, who's actually a decent guy, and I don't want to see him get fired, or a gay white man. Because you couldn't have actually a straight white man or a straight black male or a straight Asian male or a straight Hispanic male. No, 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 no. Unless they're Pablo, who, if you follow him enough and you know who his wife is, I think she probably beats the shit out of him every night. But anyway, it's just, so we're watching this. This guy, this fake account has, I no longer like Dave Filoni. Here's Pablo. Dave came in after he did, okay? Dave is George's protege. If George Lucas is Yoda, Dave is Luke Skywalker, okay? That sort of relationship, all right? That had to piss him off. The keeper of the continuity and the guy who knows all this shit. I just got done watching a video, I think it was by Geatley, about what the balance of the Force really is. And basically the guy was saying, we've been misinterpreting the Mortis arc. The Mortis arc is actually what is going to play out in the Skywalker saga. That the balance of the Force is in dark side and light side, equally balanced. That's what we think of. The balance of the Force is the light side. Okay. The dark side is chaos. And, if you look at ancient religions like the Egyptians didn't have a concept of evil. What we would consider evil, they would call chaos. Okay. It's chaos. It's instability. It's all that stuff. Okay. And the balance of the Force, when Anakin, and I'm going to say this, I've done videos on this. We met Anakin Skywalker in The Empire Strikes Back. Okay. When Vader walks away from the bridge, Piat thinking he's going to choke me to death, and just walks away, that's Anakin Skywalker. The moment he says, "No, I am your father," it's out there, out loud. Everybody heard it. Luke heard it. That is the reality. Boom. You got Anakin. There's no turning back. The light side is coming back. Okay. This is why I think George decided not to use the deleted scene of him choking Moff Jerjerrod, because that was inconsistent with how Vader was. Okay. It's very interesting to me when I think about, you put the first 6 movies together, and I always watch them 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. Because in the end, the Jedi that returns isn't Luke. It's Anakin Skywalker. Okay. He is the one to eradicate the dark side. Okay. That's what his job is. It's not to bring balance to the Force. Bringing balance to the Force is eradicating the dark side. Okay, that is George Lucas said that, okay? So when people look at the Mortis arc, they don't understand it. The Father in that is the Force itself. And Jedis are, by a rule, supposed to serve the light side, supposed to serve the Force, okay? And when you're looking at the Clone Wars, you realize how they've lost their way. They're no longer really serving the Force as much as they're serving an incompetent government and, pretty much serving Palpatine, the dark side, okay? And when you start thinking about that, you start putting two and together. It's like, holy shit, this is not just brilliant storytelling, it's complicated as hell. But it's also simple, all right? Anyway, back to Pablo. All right, I lost my point, so let me babble. When you're watching, if you watch TLJ, and I've only seen it once, and Rey says, I see the balance. She doesn't see the balance. If she saw the balance, she'd see the light side of the Force. That's it. So Pablo, who helped write TLJ, should have corrected dipshit Ruin Johnson, and he did not. Okay. You need people who love it. Pablo Hidalgo doesn't love it. Okay. If he got there as an IT person, he should have just stayed with that. Okay. And I guarantee you, if he was an IT person, he knows damn well how to create several different Twitter accounts. And this is why people get trolled. I'm still not sure who was behind that account that was following me and getting me suspended from Twitter, but it was called Daily Plunge, and he is one of the culprits. He is one of the people of interest, because I know from experience, and I've known what I've seen, and I know what witnesses have told me, that he does that, okay? But there's also somebody else, and Mazeros knows who I'm talking about here. But, so when you go to his Twitter account and start reading it, it's like, really? Really? We all told you this, and you told us to fuck off. And now you're sounding like the rest of us? Sounding like an actual fan? Fucking phony. As for Leslie Headland, we need to start a hashtag, cancel the acolyte. And Disney needs to know, the fans, where is where's the enthusiasm for this? Where is it? Where? I don't see any. If anything, people are mocking it. My opinion is Grace Randolph doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. And Headland went on AV Club just to protect it. Okay? Just to protect it. Because, she knows damn well Lucasfilm is going into, is restructuring right now. Okay? And there's going to be, when you looked at the board behind Kennedy, and she looked absolutely miserable at the investors conference, and saw all those shows, it was like an open choke shotgun, somebody pulled the trigger, and you see this massive amount of stuff. Hey, Senator Dave, I'm just about ready to leave. Sorry. And you're looking at that, and you're going, this was just like, they're not going to make all, they can't. Here are the shows I think they're going to make. Ahsoka. They're already making Kenobi. The Book of Boba Fett is in the can, and now they're just post-production. Andor, because it's being filmed right now. They say they've got a writer for Rogue Squadron, and let me tell you something about shill sites. Taika Waititi can say they're under restriction. Oh, cool, Cinna Dave, that's awesome. You know, he can tell these people Lucasfilm was under restructuring. Morning Redneck Nerd, and they're not gonna be really interested in making movies for a while. My movie's on the shelf, and it goes in through one ear, rattles around, and goes out the other. And a lot of fans are like that too. A lot of the fans that on our side that attack Doomcock and, you know, say shitty things about people like me, they don't want to hear that. All right. Again, there is a contingent of fans on our side, I swear to God, that think Disney has a forest of dollar trees. And every day they go out with workers and with wicker baskets pulling $100 bills out of the trees. I swear. Where the fuck is the money going to come from for all that? For the acolyte? And why, with such a poor reception for the High Republic, would Bob Chapek spend the money on it? These are the things they don't remember and don't understand. Ultimately, like Valiant Renegade says, you gotta look at it practically and pragmatically. I mean, Mexican Iron Man knows this. He's a money guy. And I've discovered this. I mean, you know, like I said in an email today, if I was a Disney investor, I saw her talking about that, I'd be on the phone to you asking, what the hell are you doing? You know? I mean, anyway. So, I've been babbling. I gotta go, because I gotta let the dog out and then change clothes for church. We've got a new parochial vicar, so I gotta see what this guy's like. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, you guys have a good day. And I'll see you guys at Echo Base. See you around the galaxy.